Live from Liberty Street Restaurant in the downtown Galleria, it's the Paul Hornung Sports Showcase with your host, College and Pro Football Hall of Famer, Paul Hornung. Brought to you by UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business. By the Collins Auto Group, where one name means more. More selection, more value, more service. By Humana. High-quality healthcare services at affordable prices. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down the silver bullet. By your local Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant, where every day is a celebration of food. And now, here's Paul.
All right, that's right. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Liberty Street Restaurant. We're coming to you live right here on Store Cable Channel 11 every Thursday night. I've got a special show for you tonight. I've got probably the best basketball player to ever play at the University of Kentucky. Let's give it up for Dan Issel. Dan will be here tonight. And before I go any further, let's get a shot right over here. I got some Packer fans in the audience right here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're in for a convention. Let's welcome them. All right, thank you very much for coming, dropping by. And incidentally, speaking of Wisconsin, if I asked you who was having the best year of the National Football League, and you know I'm a little prejudiced with the Green Bay Packers, but I'm talking about individual play. There's one man who really stands above the rest. Let's see if you know who this is.
You know, this community's been so hungry for a contender for so long, and they just haven't been able to cheer for a winning team within the last many years. And we just feel very fortunate that we could finally provide them with some excitement, give them something to be a lot more proud of in their community. And it makes us feel a lot more proud that we're playing better, Paul. And we're just finally glad we got this thing turned around. It really looks like we're headed in the right direction.
Well, he's really had a great year. Don Majkowski, of course, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, 24 touchdown passes. He's thrown for more yards than anybody in the National Football League. And I've got a special exclusive interview. Don taped it last week, and he sent it down to me, and I think you're going to get a kick out of it. He's a refreshing young man, and he's had a wonderful year, and he's headed for another $7-figure million-dollar contract, unquestionably. Now, how about Pikeville? We got to give him a little applause. 3 times in a row state champions. Never been done in the state of Kentucky in football. 1A. And how about the Trinity Rocks? 2 straight years, undefeated seasons, 28-0. I tell you, it's been a big week. It's been a big week for Kentucky. I went up to the Big Four last week, and I don't think I've ever seen a U of L team this early play as well. They're off to a great start. Jerome Harmon, their fantastic sophomore, can jump through the roof. And I think this is going to be the best record that Denny Crum has had so early. And how about UK? My heavens. Rick Pitino. If you saw the game at Kentucky and you saw what he did at halftime when he went to the middle of the floor, he wasn't going to be upstaged by Bobby Knight. And I tell you, he won a lot of respect. I tell you, he's got these kids playing way over their heads. I tell you, he is absolutely #1 choice now for Coach of the Year. If he keeps this up, Kentucky's the most surprising team in college basketball right now. But Saturday, they're going to have to travel out to Kansas. We'll get another look at that. Now, we're going to be right back with Dan Issel, and he's going to give us his feelings about the present University of Kentucky team. We'll be right back.
Some insurance didn't even pay for your mom's allergy shots.
Well, you were cold last month. And because I didn't reach the deductible, it didn't pay for my stitches.
Humana has a range of plans to meet your needs, from affordable deductibles to no deductible at all.
Sue, what did my company insurance cover last year?
Nothing.
If you want coverage you can use, you want Humana.
Bill Collins, how do you do?
Bill Collins Ford celebrates their 20th anniversary with special deals available only at Bill Collins Ford. Now get 9.9 financing plus rebates up to $1,250. Most dealers offer one or the other, but now during Bill Collins' 20th anniversary, you get both. 9.9 plus rebates up to $1,250 on every 89 and 90 in stock. Choose from over 400 new cars and trucks at Bill Collins Ford. See Friday or Sunday's Courier Journal for details.
Every night while you're sleeping, UPS is maintaining its status as the only company that delivers overnight to every address coast to coast. And we guarantee it with UPS Next Day Air. And because we're so efficient, we'll still do it for up to half what other companies charge, which is guaranteed to cause our competition some sleepless nights. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Resistant Mexican lately? Introducing Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex dinners. Texas-size helpings with a taste just as big. Like steak El Paso, spicy grilled steak, plus 2 pepper jack cheese enchiladas. There's chicken, too. For a little heat, a lot of flavor. Remember Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex. Chi-Chi's a celebration of food.
If you don't want to slow down on your way to the top,
It's the right beer now.
because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a mountain stream, you gotta start with a mountain stream.
It's the right beer now.
When a night on the town might last all night, call for the taste preferred at better night spots. The silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
It's the right beer now.
Well, I got lucky tonight. Dan Issel was in town for one night. It happened to be on a Thursday. In fact, I was going to have Paul McGuire on, and I said, Paul, I was up at a dinner last night at Youngstown, Ohio, and I said, Paul, would you do me a favor? I got Dan Issel coming on Thursday night. Would you come back next week? He said, I'd be glad to. So let's welcome Dan Issel back home to Kentucky, huh? Thank you. Well, Dan, first of all, I know a lot of people in the state of Kentucky know what you're doing with the Denver Nuggets, but bring us up to date a little bit.
Well, Paul, I went back out there about a year ago as the assistant to the president and general manager, and that's really what I want to get into. I want to get into the management side of professional basketball. And in the meantime, I'm also doing the color. We do 68 games on television for the Nuggets. We do all the road games, and we do about 27 of the home games on the local cable system there. And I do the color analysis on those basketball games as well.
Well, the new contract that the NBA signed, it's just, you know, Dan, now you made a lot of money in basketball, but not anything close to this. I know you'd like to be playing today.
We just signed Blair Rasmussen, one of our players, and he only got $17.5 million for 7 years.
And I'll guarantee you, people in Kentucky follow basketball probably better than any other state, and there's a lot of them that do not know who Blair Rasmussen is.
Well, you know, the thing about it is with free agency, it's all, just like anything else in life, Paul, it's a matter of timing.
That's right.
Blair is 7 foot tall. He was going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, free to go any place. And with the new collective bargaining agreement, the salary cap, each team in the NBA next year is projected that the salary cap is going to be $13.5 million. So each team in the NBA is going to have to spend that amount of money.
Now, that's a little bit different. I wish you'd explain that, because a lot of people think when you have a salary cap that you can't spend over X amount. But the rule in the NBA is they must give how much, 53% to the players?
53% of the gross income. Now, that's great for a team like LA or Detroit or New York or Chicago, teams that are filling the place every night, because in actuality that might only be 20 or 25% of that team's gross, but it's a league-wide average. So each team, the salary cap, each team has to spend 53% of the gross income, divided by 27, of course, the number of the teams.
And John Konchak was in the same boat. Here's a guy that a lot of people, you know, if you didn't follow pro basketball
well, there's a lot of people that follow pro basketball that don't know John Konchak, but I thought Spud Webb had a great line. Concac averaged last year about 4 points a game, and he signed a contract, $2.5 million a year. Spud Webb said, I guess if I want to make more money, I'm going to have to lower my scoring average.
And Spud Webb's only about 2'6", isn't he?
Exactly.
But anyway, Dan, there was a cute line that I got to thank Bob Stallings, our friendly attorney in town, for getting Dan here. What, did you do another commercial today for Farm Credit? I know you were in town. Did you sign your contract?
Now, wait a second. You got to get the sponsors right. Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau, all right. Farm Bureau Insurance, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I've been the spokesman for them for about 18 months now, and they're having their state convention.
All right, good.
And it just worked out great. I was in Indianapolis last night with the Nuggets. I have to be in Boston tomorrow night, so I came into Louisville and saw those people at lunch, and I'm here with you tonight.
You know what Stallings told me? He said, you know who's the highest scorer in the history of UK basketball? And I said, sure, everybody knows it's Dan Issel. You only played 3 years, but still over 2,000 points. He said, no, Dan Issel's not the highest scorer in UK basketball. Valerie Still is.
That's exactly right. Valerie Still, of course, graduated several years ago, played for the Lady Cats.
Art Still's sister.
Exactly.
Right?
And, yeah, she broke my record.
She broke your record.
So I guess I'm number 2.
Tell us, how was it playing for Rupp? You got in on the tail end of his career.
Well, I thought that it was terrific, Paul. You played for the same type of individual with Vince Lombardi. They were from a different era, from another school. I don't know how successful Coach Rupp would be coaching today's athletes, just like Vince Lombardi. I don't know if he could handle today's athletes, but in their time, their discipline was terrific. You played for Coach Lombardi, and Coach Rupp was the same way. What they said goes, and it didn't even enter your mind that you would question their authority or question their coaching ability. And it was a great experience for me because Coach Rupp instilled in me a work ethic that was valuable not only in the game of basketball, but everything I do in life.
You know, when they talk about NBA basketball, I'm such a fan. When I had season tickets here to the Louisville Colonels, and I don't know if you folks remember, well, it was one of the most entertaining leagues of all time. And Dr. J was really Dr. J in those days. But, you know, I don't think there's ever been a better front line than the Colonels had. I mean, you had to be very proud. Artis Gilmore at center, Maurice Lucas on the other side, and Dan Issel. I don't know if there's ever been a better front line.
Well, when we won the ABA championship in 1975, John Y. Brown, of course, was the owner of the team, and the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship that year, and John challenged the Warriors to a 7-game playoff between the Colonels to see who the world champions really were. Of course, they declined, but I'll always believe in my heart that in 1975, the Kentucky Colonels were the best basketball team in the world, NBA, ABA, whoever you want to talk about.
And when you think of Dan playing for the Colonels, there's another little guard there could shoot it too, Louis Damper didn't. What, you were a freshman at Kentucky, he was a senior, and freshmen were not eligible.
Yeah, in those days, freshmen weren't eligible. This was the year after they went to the finals, Rupp Runts. Louis was a senior, Pat Riley was a senior on that club. But we didn't get to play together at Kentucky, but we were together for 5 years here with the Colonels.
And I loved it. They had to tear your jersey off, and I loved that kind of thinking, didn't they?
Well, you know, that was always my idea of how to play the game. You know, you go out there and it is a sport, and you got to have fun. And once the game starts, you don't worry about who's making what. You just compete as hard as you can compete, and let the chips fall.
Well, a lot of people thought y'all do a lot better in the NCAA. We're going to think back to 1967, 68, and 69, and part of the 70 season. What I think Dan averaged over 30 points a game, 33.9 it says here, 2,138 points. And you only played 83 games as a Wildcat. Now, a lot of the other scorers played 130, 135 games. Dan, tell us a lot of times you had to be favored going to NCAA. A lot of people thought Kentucky would win it.
Yeah, well, my senior year, the last AP poll taken, of course, which was before the tournament started, we were the number one ranked team in the country, and we were favored to win the NCAA. Unfortunately, we ran into that same Artis Gilmore and the Jacksonville team and got beat in the finals of the regional. But that is probably my biggest disappointment as a basketball player. We got to the regionals, the finals of the regionals twice while I was at Kentucky, and to the semifinals once, but I never got to the Final Four. That would have been a big thrill.
Played for what, 15 years as a pro?
15 years as a pro, 5 years here in Louisville with the Colonels, and 10 years with the Denver Nuggets.
What'd you enjoy more? The AFL days or the NBA days?
The ABA days.
Yeah, ABA,
yeah,
what did I say?
Yeah, it was because there was more camaraderie in the ABA. You know, there were so few teams. We played everybody every other week, or sometimes every week. Now in the NBA, there's so many teams. The most that you play another team is 5 times, and those are the teams in your own division. And you know, we used to play the Indiana Pacers 15 times a year, and the Carolina Cougars, and you know, all of them. And
Jumpin' Joe from Carolina.
Jumpin' Joe Caldwell. Yeah, there were some great players. And you know, I think after the merger, after the 4 ABA teams went into the NBA, only then did people really start to realize what kind of basketball we were playing in the ABA, because out in Denver, we won our division the first 2 years that we were in the NBA. And, you know, everybody got a chance to see Julius Erving and Charlie Scott and Artis Gilmore. And there were a lot of ABA players that were very, very successful in the NBA.
Well, we're going to take a short break right now. We're going to come right back and talk about the present University of Kentucky team with Dan Issel. We'll be right back.
When only the best is good enough, you'll always find the best at Roof Lighting. Diverse designs, superior styling, unsurpassed quality, and a professional staff to assist you. That's Roof. And opening soon, Roof's new lighting design center in Eastgate, just east of Middletown. An additional location to serve your total lighting needs. Roof Lighting, the complete lighting, design, and planning centers. Here for you because you deserve the very best.
Here's to the people who work so hard to keep our city going. And here's to all the things you do to keep our city growing. Here's to the people we're looking to make this city's dreams come true. To the people, hard-working people, Bank of Louisville's here for you.
It's all right, I've got my card.
I like it.
I like to wander and roam, I like to call back home. I like my MCI. I like you loud and clear, I like you close and near. I get more. I like my MCI. I like my MCI.
Beautiful furniture from who? Smith's Furniture, that's who. It brings out the best in everyone.
Hi, I'm Paul Hornung. You know, 7 years ago, I decided to let J.C. Bradford handle my IRA. Why? Well, they've always given me great advice, and their track record has always been very good. Maybe that's why more than 43,000 people have over $1 billion in retirement accounts here at J.C. Bradford. So if you have an eye on the future, take a tip from me. Let J.C. Bradford clear the way. All right. Special guest tonight, Dan Issel, the highest scorer in UK history. Do you know Patino? I never asked you.
I've met him a couple of times. I don't know him real well. I was down in Lexington over the Thanksgiving holiday, and C.M. Newton was nice enough to take me to basketball practice on the Friday after Thanksgiving. They were awful. I didn't think they'd win a game. They weren't too good that day.
You know, I was up to watch them practice about 2 weeks ago, and you were mentioning a little bit earlier about Adolph Rupp. You don't know if he would have. I think he would have, and I think we all know that. But I'll tell you one thing. Rick Pitino's the boss. I mean, this guy starts at 6:30 with him, and he finishes about 6:30 at night. And he runs a tight ship up there.
Well, I think the reason that they've been so successful thus far, Paul, is that he has sold his program to the kids. And as a player, you know that that's so very important. I mean, he might not have convinced all of the skeptics or convinced all of the UK fans, but he has sold those kids on this way of playing, and the kids believe that they can do it, and that's very important.
You know, 3-1 at this stage, as far as the university, it's different. I mean, if no one has had the opportunity to go up and watch UK play in Rupp Arena, it is kind of special. It seems like, you know, it's one of the great arenas, wouldn't you say, in all of basketball, because everything is so close. You almost feel a part of the action in that arena.
Yeah, and I think that because the expectations going into this season were so low, the fact that they are playing so well right now and beating teams by 36 points like they did last night, you know, it's kind of renewed the enthusiasm down there. You know, for the last couple of years, the Kentucky fans have sat on their hands a little bit, and they're really excited about this club.
Are you going to spend time both ways with your farm and back and forth to Denver? You're going to keep a home here in Kentucky?
Well, we come back for, you know, during the summer months, but with the kids in school out there in Denver and the fact that the NBA season lasts for 6 months or 7 months with playoffs, we're out in Denver quite a bit.
What about the new ownership with Denver? How's that going to affect you? Or what's going to happen?
I don't think it's going to affect me at all. If it has, they haven't said anything yet. But I think that everybody is satisfied with what I'm doing on television, and you know, the other part of it, the management's a learning process that is going to take a few years. But I think that the new ownership gives the Nuggets a little deeper pockets to be able to go out and compete for some better players.
It always seems that we get talking back to money. When you talk about professional basketball, you almost have to start talking about Michael Jordan. You know, Michael Jordan, how much is he worth? I mean, my goodness, if some of these, this guy's got his unlimited.
Yeah, it really is. Of course, Michael Jordan, his basketball salary is just a pittance compared to the other things that he does. I mean, his endorsements and things like that.
I've said that all along that Michael Jordan's the most underpaid athlete that I've ever known because of one fact. When he went with Nike, they did $30 million gross. They now do $650 million gross, heading for $1 billion, and I really think a great deal of that was the Air Jordan.
You're absolutely right, a great deal. And I'll tell you, the reason it all goes back to him being such a great basketball player. We played in Chicago Tuesday night, and Michael didn't have a very good first half. He was 5 for 15, only scored 12 points in the first half. They were so far ahead, he didn't play at all in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And he wound up with 35 points and 17 rebounds, which was a career high. In the third quarter, he had 23 points. The Denver Nuggets had 18. So, I mean, he can just take over a basketball game.
I mean, why can't somebody stop him when he goes to the basket? You know he's going to drive, right?
Yep.
They're going to trap him. When they trap him, of course, he hits the open man. But it just seems to me that they can put you know, Michael Cooper on him. He's still going to go around a guy like Michael Cooper.
Well, see, the defensive rules in the NBA really play into the hands of a Michael Jordan because you cannot double team the man that doesn't have the basketball. So when he's without the ball, you have to play him one-on-one, and by the time he receives the ball, he's put it on the floor and gone to the basket quicker than you can get the extra defender over there.
And he's not going to shoot it from 25 or 30 feet much. He realizes he's much better inside, doesn't he?
Yeah, and you know, he has such quickness and such great jumping ability, he doesn't have to shoot the outside jumper because he can get to the basket.
You know, Dan, when the job at Kentucky opened up, there was a lot of speculation from a lot of your friends. And I really thought that Dan Issel's name might be prominent as far as the UK job.
Well,
at that time. Did anybody talk to you about it?
No, and you know, I didn't have any coaching experience, and I think the situation that they were in, they couldn't afford to take a chance on somebody who had never coached before. I think that C.M. Newton knew from the very beginning who he wanted for that job, and I think he did a great job, and that was getting Rick Pitino was a great choice. I hope he does as well when he hires the new football coach.
Well, I admire you because Denver's a tough town. It's it's a tough town to get situated in, isn't it?
Well, it's a lot different than Kentucky, but of course I was there for 10 years.
I hate Denver, I have to tell you.
Well, I'll tell you what, they hate anybody who doesn't wear an orange jersey when it comes to their football team.
Well, they're crazy.
It's hard to explain, but the people in Denver are as crazy about the Broncos as the people here in Kentucky are about the University of Kentucky basketball team. And, you know, the Denver's playing very well this year, but they don't have much respect for those guys in those yellow and green jerseys.
They don't have any respect for anybody having a different color jersey on out in Denver, do they?
Not at all.
And Elway is really a unique individual for I sense sometimes when I was around John Elway and I'm out in Denver that he doesn't really want to be out in public, but he's just pushed out there and he can't get back.
Yeah, in fact, he just a couple of weeks ago, he went through a thing with the press. They had it reported in the paper. Well, it was Halloween, as a matter of fact, because they had a reporter go to his house and they wrote in the paper the next day what he was giving out for trick or treat, what candy bar he was giving out. And he exploded. He thought that was an invasion of his privacy. And John is a very private guy, and he's the most popular athlete in the city of Denver. And it's hard for him to go out, you know, and have a beer or have a sandwich without just being mobbed by people.
Dan, when you were a kid, did you have any idols in basketball?
I didn't have.
My idol was Ralph Beard. I mean, I always wanted to be Ralph Beard.
I didn't have any idols in. Of course, I grew up right outside of Chicago, and I always enjoyed baseball the most. Baseball was my sport, and growing up, Ernie Banks was my idol. Of course, Ernie Banks was an amazing baseball player. I still think he's the only player to win MVP back-to-back for a team that finished in the second division. And that's when I was a kid growing up, I wanted to be Ernie Banks.
No basketball? Nobody you looked up to in the world of basketball, for heaven's sakes?
Not really.
Did you know where Kentucky was playing basketball at that time?
Well, you know, I wasn't a big Kentucky fan, and it wasn't until my senior year in high school when Coach Rupp started to recruit me. And then, of course, after I got with the Colonels, Louis Dampier was my idol. I want to be just like Louis when I grow up.
Well, I tell you, there was always I guess, a laugh between the two of you who was going to shoot the most, and it was whoever got it down the offensive court was going to throw it up, it looked like.
I was going through some old things the other day, and I found this picture where I was passing the ball to Louis, and I sent it to him, and I said, here I am again, always trying to give you an assist.
You know, I just bought at an auction. I wish I would have brought it. In fact, I'm going to bring it next week because I want to give it away before the year's over. 300 basketball pictures of University of Kentucky. I bought it at auction for Fellowship of Christian Athletes last week that Hal Smith at Chi-Chi's put on, and it's got you in there. 4 of your basketball cards when you were about 7 or 8 years old, it looks like, you know. But I mean, it's all the Kentucky players that's ever played, and I wish I would have brought it.
That would be nice to have. Sure. Sure.
Dan, what's a guy like Michael Magic Johnson think now that he got tied up in a contract, a lifetime contract? I mean, does he come in and say, hey, pal, I want to renegotiate my contract?
As far as the salaries are concerned in the NBA, I see that as being the biggest problem because, as I said earlier, it's all a matter of timing. And you can't have long-term commitments and have the security of that type of a contract and also be, you know, right at the top of the market year after year after year. You can't have it both ways. And the situation on our team, where Blair Rasmussen is probably the 3rd or 4th or 5th best player on our team, and he's making twice as much money as the best player on our team.
Well, that won't last long.
No, and that's going to be a problem. I think if I was a player, I'd just sign contracts 1 year at a time. I'd hope that I stayed healthy and just stayed at the top of that market because
you're taking a gamble.
Yeah, you are. But the way the salaries are going, you know, we talk about $2.5 million today, and that's, believe me, that's an awful lot of money. But 5 years from now, that might be the average salary in the NBA.
Well, we'll be back with the final word with Dan Issel in just a moment. Stay right there.
I never imagined that a prescription would cost $80. My insurance keeps going up, and it doesn't even cover prescriptions.
The Humana Gold Plan can cover prescriptions, vision care, and all Medicare-eligible doctors and hospital costs.
There's so much Medicare still doesn't cover.
Chances are the Humana Gold Plan covers it.
It's all so complicated.
No, it's all so easy. Call 1-800-647-0070 now.
Bill Collins, how do you do?
Bill Collins Ford celebrates their 20th anniversary with special deals available only at Bill Collins Ford. Now get 9.9 financing plus rebates up to $1,250. Most dealers offer one or the other, but now during Bill Collins' 20th anniversary, you get both. 9.9 plus rebates up to $1,250 on every 89 and 90 in stock. Choose from over 400 new cars and trucks at Bill Collins Ford. See Friday or Sunday's Courier Journal for details.
To us at UPS, this is a custom car. Why, this beauty's been modified dozens of times. It has a fiberglass fuel-efficient front, a rapid opening foam-filled door, and a sunroof, all of which makes us more efficient, so we can deliver next-day air for up to half what other companies charge, and allow our drivers to be seen in one mean set of wheels. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
For help with the design and purchase of a new air compressor, you need Air Systems. For service or repair of your present system, you need Air Systems. For parts and lubricants for your air compressors, you need Air Systems. If your compressed air system fails at any time of the day or night, you need Air Systems. I'm Jim Turner, owner and president of Air Systems. If you need a new air compressor, parts, repair service, or emergency rental, call me at Air Systems in Louisville.
We're back live at the Liberty Street Restaurant in the downtown Galleria. We're going to come to you every Thursday night, 8 to 9 o'clock. And, of course, most of the people all over the state of Kentucky will see it tomorrow. You check your local listings all over the state. We'll be here here in Jefferson County at 5:30, so you can catch a show tomorrow if you like. But, Dan, before you go, I just want to say I want to really thank you very much for coming. I've got a few things here. I know they got some Chi-Chi restaurants in Denver.
Sir.
You take you and your wife and
thank you very
have a few good dinners, and I want you to have this little memento of the Paul Hornung Sports Showcase, a nice little sterling silver keychain.
Thank you, Paul.
Courtesy of Singh Jewelers here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Appreciate that.
Now, before you go, let's see. You got Denver. Looks like it's very tough, isn't it, when you're working television for any particular team? Because I've been through it. And you got a long NBA season. It'd be much better, much easier on you if you're winning.
Yeah.
And Denver has a hard time winning on the road. Why do so many teams have such a hard time winning on the road? They win at home, but they can't win on the road. It can't be that much difference.
I think the only teams that are successful on the road are the teams that have the mental toughness. Or you talk about the Boston Celtics, the LA Lakers. They know they're going to win. And when you play on the road, you're going to have some stretches where things don't go right. And if you're strong enough mentally to play through those stretches and keep going, you're going to be successful. And that's why a lot of teams don't win on the road, because as soon as they hit one of those streaks where the home team runs off 8 or 10 in a row, boom, that's it. They're done for the night.
Well, anyway, Dan, I want to thank you very much, because I know you got a tough schedule. I'm lucky I grabbed you on one of your off nights, and you're such a busy guy. Let's thank Dan Issel for stopping by tonight. Thank you very much, Dan.
Appreciate it.
Now let me show a little feature for my special guest from Milwaukee who dropped by here. And I wasn't kidding when I said earlier that the young man who's having probably the best year in the National Football League, I think if you had to take a vote on who's the most valuable player is, it'd be Don Majkowski of the Green Bay Packers, because he's had a sensational year, and the Packers are tied with the Minnesota Vikings and could make the playoffs, and he's the reason why. Listen.
I think so. I think that just comes with maturity and really getting a full grasp of the offense, what's going on. I think that's typical of any young quarterback. Your first couple of years in here, when you don't really have the total understanding of what's going on around you in the offensive philosophy, in my case, I had good feet, and sometimes I wouldn't go through my third and fourth read on the field. Sometimes I would just go through my first and second. If it wasn't there, I would rely on my running ability, and I think that's the case any young quarterback. It takes time to mature and stay poised and stay in a pocket and really have a full understanding of reading the defensive coverages and so forth, and just stay in a pocket and have confidence in your offensive line and go through your final reads and find somebody to dump it off with. Let somebody else run with it instead of myself, which is, we're better off that way.
Don, have you proved the scouts wrong? Are you an example of one slipping through the cracks?
Well, if you consider a guy being a 10th round draft pick and being in the position I am now, I guess you could kind of consider that. You know, to this day, I really understand what happened during the draft. Being a 10th round draft pick was, you know, it was devastating to me. You know, I really didn't think I was going to go that late, but I did. And my confidence was always high when I came up here. And for some reason, I didn't understand why I got drafted late, but it didn't matter to me once I got into camp, except for financial reasons. But when I got into camp, I just wanted to have the opportunity to show what I could do. And I think after the first week or so, I think they realized that they got a steal right after the first week.
Don, has it been harder for you to make the climb, or do you think it'll be more difficult to stay there now that you've gotten up near the top?
I think the hardest thing was getting up there to the climb. I mean, getting to the top, which I'm still climbing. I'm about, I don't know, just beginning actually, at the bottom of the hill. Got a long way to go. And, you know, it takes a lot of hard work. There's been a lot of dedication on my part. And I think that's the case of anybody who reaches this level of playing. But there's just so much more areas I can improve on, and our team can improve on, that we still have a very much of an upward climb to get to where we want to get. But we are definitely getting closer, and it's getting easier to climb faster. And because we're playing better and we finally understand what it takes to be a winning team. And for me to get better, I understand what I have to do. And as it gets easier because of my playing experience and so forth, it's going to happen quicker. And I think I want to stay at the top. I don't want to go back down to the bottom. I know what it's been like, and I think a lot of the hard work is going to pay off.
Have you surprised yourself by how fast you've climbed as well as the team?
To be totally honest with you, not really. I knew that at the end of last year, I was feeling very comfortable with this offense, and I knew that I could be the guy to fulfill the quarterback position need. You know, there was all talk that we still needed a quarterback, but coming into the '89 season, going to camp, I knew that given the opportunity, which I knew I was going to get, that I would have an opportunity to win the starting job and show how much I matured in the offseason by studying film and learning what I need to improve on by looking at the 88 films. Every day I should come in here and look at the films, and I knew I'd be much improved mentally and physically. I think I worked a lot on my throwing. I'm throwing the ball better this year, and so I felt confident no matter who they drafted or brought in that they were going to have a hard time beating me out, because I think I had just as much or more ability than any quarterback that came out in the NFL draft last year. And Troy Aikman, I think, would be the only guy maybe, you know, that could compare. But I had 1 year already under the system, and I had an experience factor. So I felt very confident this year that I could fulfill the need, and it's gone as planned.
Obviously, one of the big factors for you turning it around, getting on the right course, is getting rid of number 5.
Well, Paul, to be honest with you, when I first had number 5 my first year, I took a lot of slack for it. I don't know why. You're a great player, and it was a great number you wore, but for some reason when I wore it, people gave me a lot of slack. And for some reason, ever since I switched numbers my second year, number 7, things have seemed to have been going up for me. So I don't know what I have to credit that to, but number 7's been a lot luckier for me than 5. Nothing against you. I'm glad that no one's wearing your jersey anyways. It should be retired. Hopefully they'll do that someday for you.
He's a modest young man. What he really meant was when they gave him number 5 to wear up at Green Bay, he called me on the telephone. He said, "Do you mind if I wear your jersey?" I said, "No, not at all. I feel very proud of the fact that you're going to wear it. I hope it brings you as much luck as it did me." And he got so much heat all over the country from wearing it. the next year he said, Paul, I'm going to take that number 5 and throw it in a can, if you know what I mean, because I got to get another number. And, of course, number 7's been pretty good to him. But he's a great young man, and I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the National Football League. Now, we're going to be right back with the UPS College Football Forecast after this timeout.
Resistant Mexican lately? Introducing Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex dinners. Texas-size helpings with a taste just as big. Like steak El Paso, spicy grilled steak, plus 2 pepper jack cheese enchiladas. There's chicken, too. For a little heat, a lot of flavor. Remember Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex.
Chi-Chi's, a celebration of food.
I'm Bill Collins. How do you do?
Bill Collins Ford celebrates their 20th anniversary with special deals available only at Bill Collins Ford. Now get 9.9 financing, plus rebates up to $1,250. Most dealers offer one or the other, but now during Bill Collins' 20th anniversary, you get both. 9.9 plus rebates up to $1,250 on every 89 and 90 in stock. Choose from over 400 new cars and trucks at Bill Collins Ford. See Friday or Sunday's Courier Journal for details.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
It's the right beer now.
But not now.
It's the right beer now.
But definitely not now.
Coors Light, it's the right beer now.
And absolutely positively not now. No way.
Come on, Jimmy, let me get your cab.
Welcome back. Welcome to the UPS College Football Forecast. This week we've got a very light schedule as far as college football is concerned. Actually, we only got 3 games on tap all day Saturday. But I want to tell you, next week we're going to give you a look at all the bowl games. We're going to try to have all the bowl games on the UPS College Football Forecast. We're going to go through, tell you who's favorite, and maybe the next week we'll tell you who we like. But let's take a look at the games this week. And, of course, you know this one. This is one of the great rivalries in college football. Army is 11-point favorite over Navy, and I think Army may have a little bit too much for them. They've won 4 out of their last 5, and I think Army should beat Navy. Of course, anything can happen in this football game. It's one of the great spectacles in college football and very high rating, even though the teams do not sport a lot of winning teams at the end of the year. It's still one of the great ratings in college football as far as television is concerned. Air Force travels over to Hawaii. Now, Hawaii's a couple of point favorites. Very tough to beat Hawaii over in Hawaii for some reason. And it's unwritten a lot of places, but it seems like the referees love the home team here so many times. Very tough to win at Hawaii. And Air Force is a 2-point underdog. I think they're a little bit better football team. Both of these teams are going to a bowl. So this is a culmination of a pretty good season for both teams. And I think Air Force, with their great little quarterback, D. Dallas, will beat Hawaii, even if they have to go across the water to do it. Now, Fresno State is a big favorite. The first bowl game on tap, it's a California Bowl. And Fresno State is a strong favorite to beat Ball State. Now, we also, I guess we should mention Ball State here. One of our sponsors, UPS, Oz Nelson, just made CEO of UPS, a graduate of Ball State. So he'll probably fire me when I pick Fresno State over Ball State, but we almost have to. Fresno State, one of the great passing teams. They also have a great running attack. Ball State 7-2-2 on the year, had a very excellent year. A lot of people are picking Ball State in an upset, but I like Fresno State to beat Ball State. Maybe it's a close football game. We'll be right back and take a look at the pros after this timeout.
This is the shop of Samsat Pasar, a thriving establishment on the outskirts of Bangkok. Unlike other international executives, he has no phone system, no computers, not even a fax machine. He does, however, enjoy one modern and efficient service nearly 4 billion people in 175 countries today can take for granted. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
It's here. It started. Lotto has come to make new Kentucky millionaires. And just one more thing. Now, summarizing my key points.
Play Lotto Kentucky. Tickets are on sale now, and the drawing is at 7:28 p.m. on, well, take a wild guess. It's a whole new reason to love Saturdays.
Bill Collins, how do you do?
Bill Collins Ford celebrates their 20th anniversary with special deals available only at Bill Collins Ford. Now get 9.9 financing, plus rebates up to $1,250. Most dealers offer one or the other, but now during Bill Collins' 20th anniversary, you get both. 9.9 plus rebates up to $1,250 on every 89 and 90 in stock. Choose from over 400 new cars and trucks at Bill Collins Ford. See Friday or Sunday's Courier Journal for details.
If you feel life's more interesting when you make a splash.
It's the right beer now.
If you feel a great beer starts with great water.
It's the right beer now.
Because you're the kind of person who likes to get to the bottom of things. Call for the Silver Bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
Let me ask you a question. What's the coldest day you ever remember any football game, or you ever witnessed any football game? Now, a lot of TV may guess this. Was it in Chicago? Was it in Minnesota? Was it in Buffalo or New York? No. I remember because I was there. I didn't get the opportunity to play. Thank heavens I have to play in this mess. But I tell you, it was in 1967 in Green Bay. And it was Dallas against the Green Bay Packers. It was absolutely the coldest day in the history of pro football. Watch.
Against the forces of nature, what strength has a man? In pro football, an unpredictable world of hostile elements has always enhanced the flavor of the game and has added spice to the meaning of the sport.
Those elements are elements that you should thrive on. You should want it to be cold. That's how the game was played. That's how they played it in that era when it was cold and nasty.
We played a Monday night game against Green Bay. You know, it snowed throughout the whole ball game. It brought back memories of the old days when, you know, it was the blood, the sweat, the mud. Everybody was, you know, playing in the conditions the way the game should be played.
Before defeating an opponent, a football player must first conquer the playing field itself. The ice, snow, rain, and heat each present a unique challenge to the athlete's body. But the element that melts his will to play more than any other is pure cold. To play football, or for that matter to watch it in frigid conditions, is less a physical struggle than a mental one. And cold weather cities have learned not to fear the cold, but to embrace it.
Ready? Yes, we are ready. It's not cold enough out here.
I think that we try to use that to our advantage, that is our weather, that we're in control of the elements, that we play better in those elements than anybody else. Doesn't always work out that way.
In the 1988 NFC Championship game, a group of sunny Californians overcame the Bears and bear weather in a display of mental toughness that helped propel them to the Super Bowl.
Whoever would have thought it, on the coldest day of January, the finesse-ass 49ers would come in the backyard of the Bears and kick ass.
I tell you, I must be going crazy. We cut so many pieces on cold weather. I do have a piece on the coldest game ever played, and it was in Green Bay. I'm going to show you that next week. We're just a week ahead of time is all. Okay, let's take a look at the Coors Light NFL Paul's Picks. Dallas travels to Philadelphia, and of course this is the bounty game. And if you remember correctly, these two teams never did care for each other. Now they really hate each other. Buddy Ryan has really got Jimmy Johnson. I mean, they really don't like each other. And I'm going to tell you, Buddy Ryan is accused, Jimmy Johnson has accused Buddy Ryan of going after his players, trying to knock them out, putting bounties on their heads. And I really think this is going to motivate Philadelphia. They killed Dallas the last couple of weeks, and Buddy Ryan said it's one of the worst football teams, worst prepared football teams he's ever not only played against, he's ever seen. So this might be a war, and I like Philadelphia. I got to lay the 12 points. This defense is really going to put pressure on Troy Aikman, and that's the one thing that Troy Aikman cannot stand up under is pressure. Philadelphia lay the 12. San Diego goes to Washington, and I like Washington here, 9.5 points. The Chargers are without McMahon. He's hurt as usual, and Washington really is got their running attack going. They're back on track. I think Washington and home will roll. Pittsburgh and the New York Jets. I can't think of the New York Jets wouldn't be favored over the Trinity Rocks, for heaven's sakes. So I think I'm going to have to take Pittsburgh in this football game straight up. The Saints are at Buffalo. The Buffalo's 5.5 points. Now the Saints have covered the last 10 times against Buffalo. They've played sensational against Buffalo the last 10 times. They won't this time. They're in a little bit of trouble. Their back's up against the wall, and so is Buffalo. So Buffalo playing at home is always a good football team. Take Buffalo and lay the 5.5. Kansas City goes to Green Bay. In the last, 13 or 14 games, the Packer games go right down to the wire. They either win by 1 or 2 points. In fact, 14 of the games have been decided by 4 points or less. So I think it's going to be a very close game. You know who I'm pulling for here, but I think Kansas City is really one of the most surprising teams in the National Football League, along with the Denver Broncos, and I think Kansas City is on a roll. The Packers have got a shot to get to the playoffs, and I hope they don't stump their toe. Detroit is at Chicago, and I'm going to believe Mike Ditka. I think the Bears are finished. If he doesn't have confidence in his football team, I don't think his players are going to be. I don't agree with the way he's coached the last couple of years. I know Mike. He's a friend of mine, but I don't think you should come right out and degrade your football players in public and say how poorly not only have they played, but what poor people of character they are. He has really got this football team in disarray, and I like Detroit. They're one of the most improving young football teams in the league. Atlanta goes to Minnesota. Minnesota will not let Atlanta score over 10 points, and Wade Wilson is back on track, and this team will win easy. I'll be right back with the rest of the NFL after this timeout.
If you don't want to slow down on your way to the top,
It's the right beer now.
because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a mountain stream, you got to start with a mountain stream.
It's the right beer now.
When a night on the town might last all night, call for the taste preferred at better night spots. The Silver Bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
It's the right beer now.
Resistant Mexican lately? Introducing Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex dinners. Texas-sized helpings with a taste just as big. Like steak El Paso, spicy grilled steak, plus 2 pepper jack cheese enchiladas. There's chicken, too. For a little heat, a lot of flavor. Remember Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex.
Chi-Chi's, a celebration of food.
Remember now, if you come down here live each Thursday night, you can beat Paul's picture. Your name goes into a hat. You might win 2 Super Bowl tickets. I don't know where I'm going to get them, but I'll find them. We'll pick them out of the sky somewhere. How about Tampa Bay and Houston? Houston's 8.5-point favorites, and I like Tampa Bay to take the 8.5. Houston may be looking ahead. They still got Cincinnati and Cleveland to play the last 2 weeks of the season. They're playing at home, and Tampa Bay can throw the football around. Testaverde, if his people get open, he's got a good arm, and he can put some points on the board. Seattle and Cincinnati in a walk, believe me. Seattle has not played well on the road, and Cincinnati at home and I think they're coming on. A lot of people think they're going to be back in the playoffs, and I do too. Cleveland and Indianapolis, I just like Cleveland here. Bernie Kosar has got arm trouble. He really can't throw the football too well to his left at all when his arm's well, but Indianapolis is really having their problems anyway. I like Cleveland here. I think defensively they match up against Eric Dickerson, one of the best defenses up front. The Giants in Denver, and here's one of the real good games of the week. The Giants, 3-point underdogs at Denver. Denver still's got to win. They've already made the playoffs, but if they can keep winning, they're going to have home field for the whole playoffs, and that's very, very important for the Broncos. And I like them at home. Boy, they really play well at home. The Broncos by 3 over the Giants. And Phoenix against the Raiders. The Raiders are undefeated with Art Shell at home, 5-0 in the Coliseum. Phoenix is terrible, and the Phoenix fans don't even like Phoenix. So I like the Raiders at home, lay the 10 points. New England playing Miami. Miami 5.5 points. I'm going to have to take New England. I tell you, they've been kind of a surprise against the number this year. I thought they had one of the worst teams. They can never settle on a quarterback. But Miami has been banged up, and Marino really hasn't had the type of year he's accustomed to. And New England always plays well against Miami. I like New England plus the 5.5. And one of the best, probably the best game of the week, the 49ers and Rams Monday night. By the way, New England and Miami, that's Sunday night. And Monday night, San Francisco travels to the Rams. They've got a 1-game lead. And I'll tell you one thing. The Rams beat the 49ers up in San Francisco. San Francisco's undefeated on the road, 7-0 on the road this year. And they really felt they should have won the first football game. They had 22 first downs to the Rams 11. Montana's ready to go again. And I like San Francisco over the Rams Monday night. And we'll be right back and talk a little boxing in just a minute.
Some insurance didn't even pay for your mom's allergy shots.
Or your cold last month. And because I didn't reach the deductible, it didn't pay for my stitches.
Humana has a range of plans to meet your needs. From affordable deductibles to no deductible at all.
Sue, what did my company insurance cover last year?
Nothing.
If you want coverage you can use, you want Humana.
Hi, I'm Paul Hornung. You know, 7 years ago, I decided to let J.C. Bradford handle my IRA. Why? Well, they've always given me great advice, and their track record has always been very good. Maybe that's why more than 43,000 people have over $1 billion in retirement accounts here at J.C. Bradford. So if you have an eye on the future, take a tip from me. Let J.C. Bradford clear the way. Okay. Thank you very much. A little later on tonight, of course, on Payview Television. How much does that cost, by the way? What is that, $20, $30? $35, you can watch Roberto Duran fight Sugar Ray from the Mirage out in Las Vegas. A lot of people are paying a lot of money out there to see a 38-year-old fight a 33-year-old. I don't know. I think Sugar Ray wouldn't have signed for the fight if he didn't think he could win. I'll tell you that. He only gets $17.5 million for this fight. It's unbelievable. Looking a little bit further ahead, Louisville plays Western Kentucky. That should be a win Saturday night. They also play Athletes in Action, and they're very competitive. They'll win that game. And Kentucky goes to Kansas, and they might have a little problem out there. Kansas rated in the top 5 in the country, but they'll give a good account of themselves. Now, who's going to be the coach of the University of Kentucky? Give me some names. Who you think is going to be the new coach of the University of Kentucky? Sherman Lewis. Yeah, how about that? That's a name I haven't heard. Dropped into the head. Mike Gottfried, I heard he'll take the job if it's offered to him. Don Shula's son wants it. Howard Schnellenberger said he will not take it. That remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see about that. Shanahan, I doubt that very seriously. But anyway, whoever gets is going to get one of the real prime jobs because they're going to get a good coach. Anyway, next week I got Paul McGuire coming back in. And don't miss him. He's quite a character. We'll have some fun with Paul McGuire next week right here at Store Cable Channel 11. I hope you enjoyed the show.
The Paul Hornung Sports Showcase has been brought to you by UPS.
We run the tightest ship in the shipping business. By the Collins Auto Group, where one name means more. More selection, more value, more service. By Humana, high-quality healthcare services at affordable prices. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down the silver bullet. By your local Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant, where every day is a celebration of food.
Okay, man. Let's do it. I'm ready to roll right myself.